Day 3 today, right?
That's right.
How's it been so far, the first couple days?
It's been absolutely amazing. It's so incredible to see 150 people come together. Day 1 was very exciting. Everybody got to learn who each other was again after being a year off from building. And so, of course, building those relationships and bonds, and then figuring out, hey, who wants to work with who? But day 2, we just crushed it yesterday. And so we are moving so quickly on these homes, and we just got done with our safety meeting for day 3, and I headed over here to the studio, and so the crew's already there, and they're slamming hammers and pounding nails.
That 150 people, that's a lot of moving parts.
Yep.
And my expectation was day 1, it had to have started with at least a small measure of chaos, right?
Oh, yes.
And then you manage that chaos and you move on, correct?
And that's the beautiful part about working with the Blitz Home Builders. You know, they've been doing it for over 20 years. And so, yeah, you might have some controlled chaos on day 1, but the great news is that, again, they work year in and year out with one another. So they just have to reestablish that relationship, and then, boom, they're off and they're chopping wood and they're putting it up.
I saw some of the pictures from the first couple days, you know, some of the stuff circulating on social media. And what brought me the greatest amount of joy, satisfaction, you know, awe, actually, admiration, was the fun that the participants, the volunteers were having building these homes. I mean, there was smiles, there's laughter, there's hard work going on, but it really is like a sense of pride and joy in doing something this important for the community.
Yeah, no, it is really, really fun. I mean, to be honest with you, throughout the whole work day, it's just nothing but fun banter, as you mentioned. Yeah. You know, these folks are friends. They may only see each other for 2 weeks out of every year, but again, they've been doing it for so long that they've really created their own sense of family and value.
Yeah, that is awesome. Mackenzie, I want to turn to you. You're one of the new starter homeowners. First off, congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. If you don't, let's just kind of tell us a little bit about yourself. Like, what do you do for work? What brought you to Flagstaff originally? Or are you a native of Flagstaff?
No, it was almost exactly 3 years ago, because it was June 19th, 2022. I moved to Flagstaff because I was hired on a conservation corps.
What?
And it was a nonprofit organization that partnered with national parks and state parks, and just to kind of support building trails or repairing things, or just certain things with like invasive species and all that kind of thing. And while we were on project, we would have like employee camping at whatever park. Most of the time I was at the Grand Canyon, which, as you know, is not far from here. And then on our off days, the schedule kind of went like firefighters, where you're like on 8 days, off 8 days.
Yeah.
And then we all kind of lived in like a staff hostel kind of thing. So I had sort of like built-in housing as soon as I moved here, which I know is not the case for most people. And I was doing that for 6 months. And then fast forward now, I am a stagehand at Pepsi Amphitheater, and it's my second season there. I'm sorry, third. It's my third season there. And also I work at the Orpheum. And I'm also a substitute teacher at Star Charter School, which is right on the border of the Navajo Reservation.
Nice. You wear many hats.
Yeah. Literally.
Literally.
Got a hat on right now.
All right. So, I mean, this obviously isn't the easiest place to find affordable housing. So what has your experience been like trying to live and work here before finding your new home?
It's no secret that the cost of living here is significantly higher than most places in the nation, but it's worth it.
We think so. Yeah.
And that's one reason, like, as ironic and counterintuitive as it may seem, like, that is one reason I love being here, because everybody who lives here is happy to be here. Like, you have to love living here to want to pay that much, pretty much. And so it is, I've been fortunate enough to do a lot of international traveling, and I can honestly say Flagstaff is my favorite place in the whole world.
Wow,
and
awesome.
I feel like very, very incredibly blessed to live in my favorite place.
We need to make sure that you talk with Discover Flagstaff and Flagstaff Chamber of Commerce, because that was a great endorsement for our community here.
I mean it.
Yeah. So how did you first hear about the Starter Home program?
I'm not exactly certain. I want to say it was like, I do remember at some point I saw some little crumpled up flyer that looked like sunburned and old, you know what I mean, when the ink starts to fade. Somewhere like a coffee shop or the library maybe. I was hanging out a lot at the library when I was living at that staff hostel so I could get some like peace and quiet sometimes. And I was like, I looked at it and I was like, oh, that's got to be like 10 years old. Like, what is this? And I had wanted a tiny home since I was like 12, as soon as they were like a big thing on YouTube or whatever. And so it's always been in the back of my head to have one someday. And so anytime I've ever seen anything online or whatever about it, it always catches my eye. And I scanned the QR code thinking like, this is probably way expired. And then it kind of just led me to one thing after another, just like enrolling in their email newsletter. And for at least, I want to say about a year, I was watching every email that came through, just like wondering like, is that starter home program thing like still, did that happen already? Or what was that? And I just kept reading thinking like, this is just interesting, right? And then it turns out that one of my friends from that conservation corps, and he still lives there, he's renting a house like perfectly right across the street from that first tiny house that was built on O'Leary.
Yeah.
Because he lives on O'Leary Street, like right at the end there. And so the times I would like come over and hang out with those like coworker friends, I would see that tiny house across the street and I would wonder like, I wonder if that had anything to do with that flyer I saw that one time. And one day I kind of walked up to it and read that, kind of like that little miniature, what do you call it, like a billboard kind of thing, that the sign they have out in front of it with all these different logos of nonprofits I heard of. And one of them was from a scholarship I received in college. And I was like, so I'm already familiar with what they've been doing all along. And I just kind of all put the pieces together in my head. And then lo and behold, it was around, I want to say October of last year. It was finally like, see if you pre-qualify. And I like jumped out of my skin. I was like, is it possible?
Yeah.
And so I like immediately, as soon as I read it, did that. And it said that I, passed the first test. And then there was a lot of paperwork after that, and it took several months to get it all together, but well worth it.
Absolutely, and again, congratulations,
Thank
Eric.
you so much.
As we close, as you listen to that story, okay, and that's such a great story. This is why you do this. I know we do this each and every week. So as you listen to that story, what does it make you feel like?
This answers all of my, like, it's a dream come true for me, because I have the greatest job ever. Like, the reason why we created the starter home program, quite honestly, is because I was tired of my friends having to move away, right? And so I'm super, super, super thrilled that I'm able to have an opportunity to help folks like Mackenzie who value Flagstaff. They want to be here, right? They want to be part of the community. So to be able to allow them to be an owner of the community too, like that's the best job that anyone could have, and thankfully I've got that job.
Absolutely. Mackenzie and Eric, we'll let you touch on this too. We've got about a minute. If you could say something to people or organizations who made this starter home program possible, what would it be?
Well, obviously, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. I've been like happy crying like on and off for about 3 weeks now. And I really, really appreciate to anyone out there who donated, or any policymakers or council members or whoever voted for this or helped be part of this decision. I really, really, really appreciate you. And I will treasure this home with everything in me.
Absolutely. I know you will. And don't forget this, the Blitz build is going on right now over at Timber Sky. I'm sure you get some looky-loos, people driving by seeing what's going on.
Yep.
Don't worry about it. They love what they're doing. Go by and check it out. Eric, it's always a pleasure. Thank you so much for what you're doing.
Hey, we're really grateful for you guys, Monica and Jeff. You spread the word for us and throughout Flagstaff, and so thank you. We appreciate you.
We bet. Building a Better Flagstaff, brought to you by Habitat for Humanity. We'll be back. This is CAF News Radio 93.5 and AM 930 News, Sports,
Community.